Another day that I spent quite a bit of time on the sky this morning, but again we're not going to focus on that. The changes are very subtle and you wouldn't see them too much until we see the entire painting. But I'm glad that I left all these other things unfinished. That worked out just fine because it gives me a break from working on this guy. Honestly, I get kind of bored and sometimes frustrated working on this guy right now. So it's nice to take a break. This needed to be done. So put some light on this pole. I increased the values. Okay, put some light on the edge of this roof. This is a stronger line now, stands out, a little punchier. Also, raise the value here of this corner adjacent to the shady side of the shed. The pole's just on the shady side. It's raw umber and ultramarine blue and a bit of white. The light side is just raw umber. No, sorry, burnt umber and a bit of titanium white. This is ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and white, the lighter strokes. This is pretty much all burnt sienna and a bit of white, just crisping the edges up a little bit. Put the fence in. Now, the fence isn't done. It's painted in, as I like to say, but it still needs a few subtle changes here and there. A little bit of grooming. That's fine. The fence is combinations of using cobalt blue and ultramarine blue and bits of burnt sienna, but mostly raw umber, or burnt umber. And white, of course, titanium white. But let's just address this thing about the fence. I said several videos ago in this painting that I wasn't going to paint individual boards on the roof of the sheds. And I didn't paint each individual board. However, I indicated on the roof of each shed enough lines. I gave enough information to show that, in fact, of course, they were boards. Same thing goes for this fence. If I were to paint a line as a division between each individual slat in this picket, well, I guess it's not a picket fence, but you know, each slat, each vertical board in this fence, we'd end up with a horribly monotonous line of vertical lines here. A horribly monotonous mass of vertical lines here. Don't do that. I beg of you, don't do that. Anytime you're painting a barn, and I've seen this so many times on YouTube, painting a barn, painting a fence or whatever, people are so tempted to indicate the division between each board. It's just makes me bored. Makes anybody bored. If you lay a few lines indicating that, yes, okay, so they're different thicknesses, different sizes, they're old, that's going to be the case. It's, you know, this fence has been patched many times over the years. It's all forgivable. But make this fence a mass, just like you would the wall on a shed. Make it a mass, but if you want to, you can indicate some boards just by putting in a few lines, you know, just suggested. It suggests something. Once the viewer sees that boards are suggested, they will make the assumption, for the most part, that the entire area or the entire wall or the entire fence is made of the same material, and that there are many more individual slats or individual vertical boards on that thing. You don't have to paint everyone. You don't want to do it. That is amateur hour, 100%. Figure out a way to work with your values and your shapes to suggest that there is a board every 12 inches, every 8 inches or whatever. But don't paint every line. I beg of you, don't paint every line. even me who paints all kinds of lines all over the place, right? I still don't do that. I still avoid it. Okay, so it does need a little bit of work, but not a ton. It's in place. Now, I think the camera will probably pick this up. I have higher values in this area on the fence. I could have left, it looked very dramatic to have these just washed in, to have it very dark. But I have a camera focused in now on this area. So it's very dramatic. That's nice for pop art. It's nice for an album cover. It's nice for a poster. Not good enough for painting. There has to be variety. There has to be color. There has to be subject matter within that area. So maybe it's not quite as dramatic. However, this is now considerably more interesting. And this will be as well. Granted, this chunk of fence being closer will probably be darker, because these rocks here are darker as well. Let me just do something here a second. Keep my computer awake. Yeah, but I wanted, for one thing, if it's too dark here, if this had been very dark, this from the fence this way, yes, very dramatic against the higher values, higher chromas, but we'd have this and then a step and then a step. It was too repetitive, too similar to each other. But this is still enough. Not by going so much lower in value, but by lowering the temperature of our hue, by making it much colder than these colors. Thankfully, this little red barn helps, or this red shed helps to do that. I wanted to keep the values up reasonably against this dark in the shade side of this shed to make it stand out. Then as we move to the left against I wouldn't say there's sun hitting this, sort of indirect sun hitting it, ambient light a little bit, but a little bit of direction, but not much. So I went darker in my values here to make this stand out again. Also, it gives variety in the fence from here to here. So trying to be sneaky about it a little bit, trying to just slowly coax the colors down in value as we go against the brighter colors. Oh yeah, I closed in the first window. That is alizarin crimson cobalt blue and a bit of bit of burnt umber, I guess, and a bit of white. I didn't want that hole there because it's too close to the edge of the painting, and it's fine. I don't want holes anywhere, completely unqualified holes. But okay, so that's our first shed. That I'm gonna say that I'm gonna call this shed finished. It's the only shed on the painting so far that's finished. So next tomorrow I will probably, I was going to upload this a lot earlier, but I was without internet earlier. I'm in an area that sometimes we get horrible service, we get horrible broadband. So I can't always do that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, so I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up this fence, groom it to the way that I like. I like all of this. I may put more light on this horizontal board, that bit of patch that holds these two together. I wanted to put that bit of horizontal stuff in there because we had so much verticality going on there, I felt it needed a break. Well, luckily it's an old fence and it needed a patch, so I put that in. So a little bit of grooming here, not much. I'll paint this in. It'll be darker, pretty simple. Probably won't take you with me. I'll just show you once it's finished. And then I'm going to go back and play in the sky. There's still lots to do in the sky. But, for that sort of dopamine-related gratification, maybe I'll paint in another door or another window. Okay, that's enough blithering. See you soon.